Chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. Speaker, His Excellency Charles Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth, along with the First Lady, Mrs. Lauren Baker, the Honorable Karen Polito, Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, the Honorable John Walsh, Mayor of the City of Boston, the Honorable Commissioner William Ross, Police Commissioner of the City of Boston, and the Honorable Joseph Finn, who is the Fire Commissioner of the City of Boston.
Please admit the honorable dignitaries. Take my seat. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. We will now say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the color guard please retire the colors? You may be seated. Good morning to everyone, and first I'd like to welcome to the chamber some of our elected and appointed officials here in the Commonwealth and the City of Boston. We're very pleased and honored to have our Governor, Charlie Baker, and Mrs. Lauren Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Mayor Walsh, Secretary Galvin, Commissioner Gross, Commissioner Finn, my colleagues in the House and the Senate, Representative Meridian, Representative Livingstone, Representative Gordon, Representative Haggerty, Representative Allegato, Representative Barber, Representative Wong, Senator Eldridge, and Secretary Turco. Welcome to all of you to the House chamber here today. I'd especially like to give a warm welcome to the family members and friends of those who suffered during the attacks that occurred some 18 years ago. As Speaker, it is my role to welcome guests and dignitaries to this historic chamber for his ceremonial events of many kinds. Of all of the events, I probably would have to say that this is probably, or is, the most emotional. It is now one of the rites of fall. As the air becomes crisp, I begin to start to think about this day. Maybe it's better to say feel it. It's a sense of anticipation mixed with sadness and duty. Although time has passed, the wounds of grief are still there. But there is also a resilience and a hope that takes place as well. I see that quality reflected in the faces of the men and women who were young, some just toddlers, when the attacks took place. I see it reflected in the marathon bombing families, who often come to the commemoration and who have formed a bond with the 9/11 families as well. Today is about gathering together to remember friends and loved ones, to see familiar faces, and to continue to heal. Today we commemorate also the courage of the firefighters, police officers, and first responders who rushed unwaveringly into grave danger. We commemorate the unique bravery of Madeline Amy Sweeney, whose heroic acts we will never forget. They exemplify the best of America in their capacity for bravery, strength, and resilience, which is something I believe that all Americans share. Today calls to mind these enduring bonds between us. It's that spirit that brings us together on this day. It serves as a reminder that we must hold to that bond not just for today, but every day. So today, let us reaffirm ourselves to Amy's bravery and strength. Thank you. And with that, I would now like to call upon Reverend Gary Adams, who will now offer the invocation. Reverend Adams.
To the family, may God bless you, and may loving memories strengthen you. I would ask if everyone except for the family could please stand as we pray. Let us pray. Lord God Almighty, we come now on this momentous day, not just remembering, but honoring all those who lost their lives on that infamous day in the lives of all Americans, if not all of the world. As we gather here at the State House, we particularly remember and offer our prayers of love and honor for those from Massachusetts who it seems like only yesterday they walked among us. We pray now, Lord God, that the years gone by have lessened the pain, but not the memory of the love bestowed upon them by friends and family. Their lost lives represent good, where evil would encroach upon us all. And still, by the grace of God, we rise. To remember them is to know and acknowledge that we are truly one nation, under God, indivisible, undividable, for liberty and justice for all. They are the innocent who died but must never be forgotten, and wherein we pray that their loss would never be in vain, that evil, both foreign and domestic, would find no shelter in this world, that love would abound. We thank you for all who would carry the banner of faith, hope, and love, and bless those who unwittingly made the ultimate sacrifice, and those like the first responders, both police and firefighters, who knowingly risked their lives to save others and made the ultimate sacrifice. They are what we truly are, a diverse nation, land of the free and home of the brave. May God bless our great city and state and its leadership, and may God bless and guide America. It is in the name of the Lord that we pray. Amen.
Oh, beautiful. morning, everyone. On behalf of the 9/11 Massachusetts families in Massachusetts, I would like to thank Governor Charles Baker and Mrs. Lauren Baker, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, and Speaker of the House, Robert DeLeo. Also, Attorney General Maura Healey, Boston Mayor Martin Walsh, Police Commissioner William Gross, Commissioner Joseph Finn of the PFT. EMS Chief James Hooley, members of the Massachusetts Task Force, members of the Needham Fire Department, and all first responders who are with us today. Joe and Druzy will be joining us a little later, but I also want to thank all of you who have committed to holding this day sacred with us. We first ask that you take a moment to think of those impacted by Hurricane Dorian. We keep them in our thoughts and prayers during this devastating and challenging time. My name is Teresa Mathai, and I'm a member of the Family Advisory Committee. On September 11th, 2001, my husband, Joseph Mathai, was attending a conference at Windows on the World in the North Tower of the World Trade Center. This was the address of his very first business venture, and sadly, also his last. For me personally, the Windows on the World holds a very special memory. It was the restaurant of my very first date with Joseph when I visited the US. He wanted to show off this iconic building to me. Joseph, we still miss you after all these years, and we will hold you in our hearts forever. Most of us, family members, started out as strangers who met in the early days after 9/11. We connected at Red Cross gatherings, meetings hosted by Senator Kennedy, or support groups. We shared our stories and discussed strategies to cope with our roller coaster journey of grief and recovery, how to handle milestones without our loved ones, and how to face the uncertain future ahead. We pay forward the kindness and support we received in the aftermath of 9/11, not only on this day of service and remembrance, but through everyday acts of kindness and ongoing service to honor the memory and legacy of our loved ones. We are forever linked by this tragedy. We have now grown to become a family, the Massachusetts 9/11 family. Over the years, we have deepened our bonds of friendship and mutual support. We have found ways to share good times, new beginnings, new blended families, and have created new memories. We have celebrated milestones and holidays together and have supported each other in times of sickness, uncertainty, and sadness. We always know that in times of sorrow, we can lean on each other. 3 years back, I moved to California, but my heart will always be here with my Massachusetts 9/11 family. Thank you again for joining us today as we pause to remember and honor those who died and those who were injured on September 11, 2001, as well as those fearless firefighters, police, Secret Service, rescue and recovery workers, first responders, and others who became first responders as the need arose. They got the call, heroically responded to the call, and rushed towards the fire and falling debris, not away from it. Some got injured, and many made the ultimate sacrifice and gave their lives in the line of duty. Together, they personified America's historic commitment to strength and resilience in the face of adversity and tragedy. from our very own neck of the woods, 79 New England-based first responders were deployed to Ground Zero to assist with search and rescue efforts between the 11th and the 18th of September 2001. Of those 79 deployed, 59 were Massachusetts residents. Their courage and bravery will never be forgotten, and we will forever be grateful to them and their families for their duty and their sacrifice. At this time, I would like to ask all first responders who are with us today to please rise. Thank you for your dedicated and selfless service. On a personal note, 5 years after 9/11, I joined a few Massachusetts families on a bus trip to visit Ground Zero and the New York Medical Examiner's Office. During my private appointment, I was informed that though most loved ones' remains were identified by DNA provided, my late husband was one of the few identified by his wallet and the information on him. The first responder who identified him also recognized his name from her Columbia MBA class. Now, 18 years out from September 11, 2001, nearly 10,000 people who responded to the terror attacks and helped with the search and rescue efforts continue to suffer from Ground Zero respiratory illnesses and related cancers. Over 2,000 deaths have been attributed to harmful exposure to the contaminants, and many expect that soon, with some succumbing at an average of 4 per week, more people will have died from their toxic exposure at Ground Zero on 9/11 than those who were killed on that terrible Tuesday. As we do every year on this day, let us strengthen our resolve to remember, and to never, ever forget. Our keynote speaker is coming in a little later. So at this point, I invite Carly Hamilton, our soloist, to sing the song Hero.
Reaches out a hand. My name is Diane Hunt, and I am a part of the Family Advisory Committee, and proud to say I am a member of that. Today I would like to share a special poem with you that goes along with our theme today. This is a time to cherish. It's a time to get together in tribute and thanksgiving. A time to hear all the tender, charming stories. A time to revel in 1,000 beautiful moments. A time to capture once more the visions of that time. A time to embrace the last of your beloved. And a time to memorialize for all time the gift of one precious life. Author unknown. Would you please all turn your attention to the screens for the photo montage of our loved ones.
Just before September 11, when we were vacationing together on an island in Penobscot Bay off the coast of Maine. I have a picture from that time that I look at and can never help but feel better. Her joy is infectious, and I give thanks for that time we spent together.
The dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby.
Say that she was my best friend, particularly as we were older. And because she'd known me for so long, she really was my touchstone. I think that's the thing I miss the most.
Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find.
On a Saturday morning, he would get up and he would ask the kids, just give me time to have my coffee and read the Globe, and then I'm all yours. And they'd play a game called Push Daddy Off the Couch, and he'd be laying on the couch, and all three of them would pile on him and see what they could do about getting him off the couch. And it became a game that they played on a regular basis, and the laughter in the house would just be unbelievable. And that's one thing I noticed after Jeff died, was that I missed the most, was the laughter that he caused.
Red roses too, I watched them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, and I see clouds of white, and the brightness of day. I like the dark, and I think to myself, what a wonderful.
He always liked to be in the yard, cutting the grass. Good old Italian, he loved to cut the grass, take care of the garden, and have vegetables. Not me. That was his job.
Faces of people passing by, I see friends shaking and singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you.
My brother was such a wonderful, glowing person and a very caring, compassionate man. He was volunteering with organizations like the Corporate Angel Network that flew cancer patients to treatment for free on corporate jets.
Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you dare to why.
The one thing that has stuck with me these past 15 years is my grandma's last words to me and my brother. She said, "Promise me when I'm gone, you two won't grow up one bit."
Before she died, I had given birth to my daughter, and everyone thought that she was going to be a boy. So when I had a girl, people were ecstatic, and my mom was just super, super excited because she finally got to shop for a little girl. But I was very adamant that I didn't want Amelia to wear pink. My dad and I finally got the courage to open the back of her car. We found about, I would say, 10 to 12 bags from like Filene's and Macy's. In each bag were different types of blue dresses for Amelia because my mom had been stockpiling them.
My heart burdened me, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
My husband Joseph was very engaging and charismatic. He had the gift of the gab. All these years later, I see him in his kids, who his pride and his joy. His daughter is kind and caring like he was, while his son can charm a room with his extemporaneous and humorous speeches. We will never forget him, his disarming smile and his booming laugh.
Raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
joke and ask if our father was a pilot dressed up as a farmer or a farmer dressed up as a pilot. He had his two loves, farming and flying. Above all else, he loved his girls, our mother and my two sisters, Laura and Caroline. We think about him all the time. We talk about him and share his stories and keep his photographs around our homes so that he's always with us. He was taken from us, but the memory and legacy he left is stronger than ever. He is never far from our hearts.
You raise me up to more than I can be.
Was the person whose advice I listened to most because he had gone through it all and I trusted him. He was the person who, after a long night of doubt and fear, helped me see a beautiful sunrise and a glimpse into heaven to let me know that all was well with him and his God.
Be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away, and then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on.
He traded in his snowboard for Bruno Magli's shoes and his Jerry Garcia shirt for a Brooks Brothers suit. Matthew's smile was electric, and it was the first thing everyone noticed when they met him.
And you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you.
I think one of the last things that Heather and I did prior to 9/11, we had a project that we were working on together, and it was refurbishing a dollhouse that I had built for her in about 20 years beforehand when she was a little kid. It was just a beautiful, I guess you could call it New England house when it was all done. And it was one of the great satisfactions and one of the best feelings that I think I ever had doing it together, working on the house together. And I think that life just really doesn't get much better than experiencing times like that.
Strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. Dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow. In time, you'll find the and a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive.
The summer after 9/11, we noticed that my aunt was sending butterflies, and we were able to notice this because our backyard was filled with hundreds of them, and only black and yellow butterflies. I graduated a couple weeks ago, and and out of nowhere, there was nothing anywhere in the sky except right about as they began calling names, yellow and black butterfly. And then my mom told me that it came to her after it went by me. Whenever we see the black and yellow butterflies, we know that they're from her.
Today, as we recognize heroes and first responders, I'd also like to recognize another kind of first responder who is with us today. We have with us retired Air Force Senior Master Sergeant Kevin, who was on duty at the Northeast Air Defense Sector, where they scrambled the fighter jets out of Otis Air Force Base after receiving the call from FAA that they had a possible hijacked aircraft. He was in charge of the surveillance section, and the personnel tracked the aircraft until they faded off their radar scope, and they went into the towers, the Pentagon, and Shanksville. He is with us today. Please also welcome Senior Master Sergeant Kevin Foster. Could you please stand? Thank you for being with us today. We realize it's your first time. We hope you will continue to join us in future. Every year, we come together to acknowledge and remember Madeline Amy Sweeney and pay tribute to a local hero. At this time, it is my great pleasure to welcome her wonderful daughter, Anna Sweeney, to share a few words on behalf of the family.
Thank you and welcome. My name is Anna Sweeney, and Madeline Amy Sweeney was my beloved mother. On behalf of my family, thank you to all responsible for making sure that my mother's spirit and heroism is recognized each year on 9/11 through the Commonwealth's Madeline Amy Sweeney Award for Civilian Bravery. Specifically, I'd like to thank the previous award recipients for attending this year's event. Your presence is greatly appreciated. In addition, thank you to Governor Charlie Baker, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, House Speaker Robert DeLeo, Attorney General Maura Healey, Mayor Marty Walsh, Boston Police Commissioner William Gross, Boston Fire Commissioner Joseph Finn, and all the other dignitaries in attendance here today. A special note of sincere gratitude to everyone at the Massachusetts 9/11 Fund for their countless efforts in making today meaningful for all of us. Finally, to my father, I know I can speak for Jack as well when I say you have done so much for us, and we would not be here where we are today without your continuous love and support. Like so many acts of bravery that go unknown and unrecognized every day, there is no doubt in our minds that others on Flight 11 were also truly courageous. It is important to my family and I that we acknowledge the bold and never forgotten acts of bravery of my mother's fellow crew members on Flight 11. Captain John Ogonowski, First Officer Thomas McGinnis, Flight Attendants Bobby Arestegui, Jeffrey Coleman, Sarah Lowe, Karen Martin, Kathleen Nkoja, Betty Ong, Jean Roger, and Diane Snyder. Today, on the 18th anniversary, as we continue to move forward with our healing, we are honored to recognize those who have gone to great extremes for perfect strangers. Like many of you who were strangers to each other before September 11, 2001, you've come together to make the world better through the silent voices of those lost. The Madeline Amy Sweeney Award for Civilian Bravery is named in recognition of my mother's incredible act of bravery. It celebrates life and the ability of the human spirit to reach beyond concern for oneself, to act with concern for others, even in the face of potentially devastating consequences. My family remembers with pride what my mother was able to do on that most horrific day. In our hearts and minds, she'll forever remain our hero. It is now my pleasure and my privilege to invite Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Karen Polito, to make this very special presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. She's just a beautiful young woman who was just a toddler 18 years ago with her little brother, Jack. I do want to acknowledge, before presenting this award with Anna on behalf of her family, the Sweeney family. You referenced your dad, Michael, just a wonderful man who I've come to know as part of the committee that organizes each year to select a recipient of this very special award. He is guided every day by his 5 beautiful sisters who are all here. You are fortunate to have 5 of them to watch out for you. Terry, Cheryl, Rose, Jackie, and Patty, and you to have so many aunties to watch out for you. I want to acknowledge this young woman because I think for many of you who remember children who were as young as Anna and Jack at this time, when we see Anna come forward, we as the community and you as part of the 9/11 families watch this generation grow. And Anna has made us all so proud. She is now a graduate student at your alma mater, Mr. Speaker, Northeastern, studying counterterrorism. That is an amazing accomplishment. Her brother Jack likes to work with his hands. He's extremely hardworking, and on a beautiful day like this, you would expect him as a painter to be hard at work, and that's where he is as we speak. Anna is a force. She's volunteered in a number of positions here at the State House and various offices, and there's no doubt in my mind that your mother would be so proud of you, and we thank you. This is a very special committee that comes forward each year. Faith Arter, Anna on behalf of her family, Representative Muradian, Representative Altrino, Senators Eldridge, Rush, and Moore, Chiefs Greno and Chief Wayner, and Paul Antonino, who is a former recipient, gathered together just a few months ago to review the applications. This year, we have an amazing man who stood out among the applicants as someone worthy of this very special award in the name of Amy Sweeney. This man was finishing up his night work as a MBTA high voltage lineman. Not the kind of job just for anyone. Coming after a very long night, early in the morning, he was heading from Boston, where his assignment was, to his home in New Bedford, and as he was traveling, he came across a vehicle on the side of the road that was engulfed in flames. He immediately pulled over to respond. He didn't wait and call an emergency responder. He was the responder. Not having training in this area, he got out of his vehicle, immediately went to that vehicle, and saw that there were 4 individuals within the vehicle that could not break the windows to get out of the vehicle. They were trapped. He was able to break into the vehicle and personally, individually, remove the 4 individuals from the vehicle which was engulfed in flames and bring them to a place of safety, obviously putting himself in a place of harm, receiving injuries himself, burns to his hands and other parts of his body, and responded to save the lives of others without regard to his own life. That is truly heroic, and he represents people, the good people in our communities that stand out to do the right thing, to stand up in a hard moment and put themselves behind another person to be able to live and succeed. His name is Ross Dugan, and we are very grateful that Ross is here today, and we want to acknowledge Ross and ask him to come forward for Anna to present this very special award to you. Ross would like to say a few words.
I'm incredibly humbled right now. This is a great honor, and I thank you very much.
Today, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our keynote speaker, Joe Andruzzi, a former NFL player who has, among other teams, played 5 seasons with the New England Patriots and has earned 3 Super Bowl rings and many awards for service and courage. Joe comes from a family well known for their exemplary service. His father was a New York City cop, and his 3 brothers were members of the New York City Fire Department and responded to the attacks on the World Trade Center on September 11th. His wife, Jen, said of the Andruzzi brothers, "They were raised to be kind and generous, and always giving of themselves, and always involved in paying it forward." Though Joe is himself a survivor of non-Hodgkin's Burkitt's lymphoma, his first experience with cancer was earlier, in 2001, when their family became very close to a 16-year-old boy with an inoperable brain tumor. Inspired by his courage and cheerful demeanor despite his illness, after his death, Jen and Joe launched the C.J. Buckley Brain Cancer Research Fund at the Children's Hospital in 2002. After his own treatment and recovery, the Andruzzi family founded the Joe Andruzzi Foundation in 2008. Over the past 11 years, the foundation has awarded over $6 million to over 22,000 cancer families to raise their spirits and help alleviate the money troubles that come with the cancer diagnosis. As you will remember hearing, on April 15, 2013, Andruzzi's Foundation was hosting a watch party for their marathon team at the Forum on Boylston Street in Boston when the marathon bombing occurred. Without hesitation, Joe jumped into action and immediately started helping the injured. it is my privilege and great honor to welcome our keynote speaker, Joe Andruzzi.
Well, thank you very much for the intro. Truly honored to be here today, and I've been asked to come here and say a few words. And driving in the car for the last 2 hours, but coming up here and remembering everything, and we all remember where we were 18 years ago. And for me, it's an honor to be here today and to stand in front of everybody here and look around and see, the many badges that people are wearing and everything like that. And I grew up in New York City. My father is a hard-working, blue-collar family who turned around and he ended his career 23 years as a New York City detective, and we saw how he worked day in and day out to help us put food on the table. 4 boys in the family, little 5-foot Italian mom who would chase us with a wooden spoon. But to turn around and know that they did everything for us and to help us move forward, the hard work and dedication that was instilled on them from their parents who were immigrants from Italy, that turned around and put that hard work and dedication right into us. My brothers love what they do. I'm sort of like the black sheep of the family, I guess you kind of say. But those values are within me and instilled in me. They claim I ate all the food growing up, but I don't believe that. They chose a different path. So when I took my path, into the NFL, which was a long shot as an undrafted rookie free agent out of a Division II school, Southern Connecticut, to turn around and be there and have my whole family root me on. And I was with the Green Bay Packers first, and the support that they showed for me is, by far the greatest support I've had in my 10-year career in the NFL. And to come here into my, it's home roots for me. New York's right next door. And to have them come up for every home game and enjoy those games and cheer on and scream and yell, and it was enjoyable. And Tuesday, 9/11, 2001, I was sitting in a dentist chair. It was our day off, and I had a dentist appointment early in the morning, and hearing on the radio that a small plane had hit the towers. My heart jumped in my throat, not knowing the severity at that moment, and calling. Those remember the phones weren't working. I was getting tornado warnings, busy signals, calling every family member I can. And cell phones are kind of newish back then too. It wasn't until about 12 hours later. Well, by the time I got home, found out the second one had hit. 12 hours later, after all that treacherous day, and couldn't do nothing but watch and watch, not knowing if my brothers were alive, and holding on to my children and sitting there and getting a phone call from my dad about 12 hours later, finally telling me that everybody was safe and sound. Finding out one of my older brothers, Jimmy, was one of the first responders in Tower 1, which was hit first. Climbing up to get his station orders, and his whole battalion, all there, and nobody ever realized that anything like that was going to happen or happen as fast as it did. But they were running into a burning building while everybody was running out. he lost a lot of close friends, and they were his family. And what they had to deal with, not just on that day, but the days of the aftermath, the rescue efforts, and the cleanup efforts that they had to be around, and knowing that so many funerals and memorials, and I get up every once a year, and first thing I do is send all 3 of my brothers a message, thinking of them today. God bless. There's more for you to do on this earth, and knowing that you got to live every day to the fullest, to go into these homes, and no matter what the call is, they are suited up and ready to go. And now he's a lieutenant in Brooklyn. Now he's in charge of people, which is pretty scary, but but he's a leader by example. And he's an amazing older brother, as well as my other older brother, who also was on the force that day. And believe it or not, my youngest brother just finished, I guess, the academy. He was a probie that Friday before. Those of you who know New York, he was driving over Verrazano Bridge, breaking his bunker gear out of plastic. And he went over that bridge just to help in any which way he can, but to search for my brother Jimmy. And his first day on the job was 9/11. 8 hours later, he found my brother on the street. Don't know how, but with all the commotion going on, and he made it there. And they just found a picture recently that they hugged, and God did not take him that day, but others cherished that day, and it was scary. But for them and all the first responders, I couldn't fathom what any one of them went through. Not just them, but the workers being there, the early risers that made it there, and you hear all the stories of the people that I missed the train, or we made it out, or the phone calls, and being here in Boston for me, and there's a very strong connection with Boston and New York. And having my brothers here, the first game back after the NFL, but truly the best decision at that time was to cancel that weekend, because I don't know how I could have played. It was hard to even play the week after, but realizing it was my job, and that's what I chose to do right now, and to turn around and be able to tell my story, to have my brothers out there that next game, knowing what they went through and their colleagues, but also knowing that when I went home the week before, right afterwards, and driving to the city and picking him up, and talking to him and his colleagues was just heart-wrenching. What they saw, what they had to go through, and him stopping. It's one of those images on my mind, in the back of your mind, of photographic memories you have, that you turn around. And I went to school in Connecticut, so I did that 95 trip many times, sitting there on the Jersey Turnpike and not seeing those towers is implanted in my mind. And one other scene is to turn around and stand on the West Shore Expressway and looking down the street like it was a scene from a movie. Windows blown out, the smell in the air. But then to have them there, first game back, just so happens to be against the New York Jets, and hopefully the first and last time we ever see the Patriots and Jets fans holding hands. But knowing that they were out there and standing on the 50-yard line to honor, they weren't out there for me. They weren't out there for themselves. They were out there for everybody who cherished that day, and to represent that what they were doing was a pleasure, to be able to do that and work hard and dedicate themselves and their lives to their community, and then being there for them for not only that year, but the upcoming years, and turning around, and them being there for me for my own cancer battle 12 years ago in 2007. had a very rare form of cancer that, severe action had to take place. Turned around and they were by my side and helped me through, that great ordeal. And then getting back on my feet, my wife and I starting the Joe Andrewsy Foundation that helps cancer patients and families with home end bills. And then being here in 2013, standing there on Boylston Street when, I don't want to say something, but two people, decided that, they didn't, I guess, like our country. I would have to say, to keep it, keep it on the same base here, but turn around and watching people turn around and an explosion happen. And then 10 seconds later or so, a second one happened. Finding out later on that it was outside my watch party. I had a 4-year-old cancer patient blown off the couch. I had cancer patients out front of the restaurant. And, thankfully enough that, they got home safe and sound that night. But unfortunately, there was others that didn't. And everybody, that whether you had a badge or not, the people, I'll never forget, there was more people running down Boylston Street than running away. It's truly amazing to, say those words, but, the two greatest words was definitely, Boston Strong that came out after that, and, I realize words all the time, you get stronger every day, and as my brother told me after 9/11, and after my cancer battle, is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I try to live by those words, and you don't necessarily think of them, but you got to think of them in other ways in order to get stronger every day. And time does heal. And knowing him and how much of a hard time he had to get through it, but for me to be by his side, and then vice versa for him to be by my side. But knowing all my brothers were a part of it, to be there, to know that, what they went through, what I went through, and to know that the first responders were truly, amazing, and what they do for their profession, I look up to them. They are my heroes. And they don't get paid very well for it, but they are who I look up to. And for myself, like I said, I'm the black sheep. I took a different angle, but knowing that every little bit helps no matter what you do. And to leave you with one last comment is, live every day to the fullest. There's only so much time we have on this earth. So those of you, everybody in here with badges or not, God bless you all. And truly, never forget, because, I have no problem standing in TSA lines for 2 hours in order to know that that is my protection, and to not complain about, other stuff that's going on for, our own well-being and safety. So God bless you all. Thank you very much for having me here today. And I guess go Patriots. You guys are at least Patriot fans.
Representatives Vitolo, Hendricks, and Cullinane came here this morning as well, and I want to thank you all for coming. I have to tell you that we are in a building where issues and people are always on the move. What the issue is may be at 11 o'clock, may quickly change by 12 o'clock. But each and every time that I come here today, I've been here from day one, I always seem to have the same type of feeling as I had the very first time that we had the ceremony. Heartbeat might beat a little faster. The eyes may still fill up, especially when I take a look at those beautiful pictures, some of those that we have lost. My only hope is that, hopefully being here together, especially to the families and friends of those who were lost, and hopefully you find some solace. Hopefully you find some comfort. And hopefully you find a renewed sense of spirit in each other's company here today. And I would ask that may God bless the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Sergeant Arms, if they would please escort the dignitaries from the chamber.